title, The Shocking History of the US Dollar: What You Never Knew. Ever wondered how the US dollar became the most powerful currency in the world, or why it's called a dollar in the first place? From Spanish silver coins to digital dollars, this is the incredible story of America's money. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into the history of the US dollar. Fact number 1, before the dollar. Long before the dollar existed, early American colonists used a mishmash of currencies. British pounds, Dutch guilders, and even Native American wampum were all in circulation. But what really caught on was something unexpected: the Spanish silver dollar, also called the piece of 8. These Spanish coins were widely used in the Americas during the 1600s and 1700s. They were reliable, pure silver, and even used to pay soldiers and taxes. In fact, the word dollar comes from the German word Thaler, which referred to a large silver coin in Europe. Over time, Thaler became dollar in English-speaking colonies. Fact number 2, birth of the US dollar. After the US declared independence in 1776, the young nation had a major problem: no official currency. So in 1785, the US Congress officially adopted the dollar as the country's currency unit, inspired by that trusty Spanish coin. Then came the Coinage Act of 1792, which created the US Mint and authorized the production of American coins. The first official US dollars were made of silver, just like the Spanish ones. The act also defined a dollar as equal to 371 and 25 grains of pure silver. Pretty precise, right? Fun fact, the first coins ever struck by the US Mint were actually delivered in a wheelbarrow to Thomas Jefferson. Fact number 3, paper money and the Civil War. Now, let's talk about paper money. In the early days, states and banks issued their own notes. It was chaotic. Imagine hundreds of different bills, all with different values. But during the Civil War, everything changed. In 1861, the US government issued its first national paper currency to fund the war. These were called greenbacks because of their green ink. They weren't backed by gold or silver at first, which caused inflation, but they kept the Union afloat. To back up the currency system, Congress created the National Banking System in 1863. This was a step toward unifying American money. Fact number 4, the gold standard era. By the late 1800s, the US moved towards something called the gold standard. That meant every dollar was backed by a fixed amount of gold. This gave people confidence in the dollar because you could, in theory, exchange your money for gold at the bank. The gold standard lasted in various forms until 1971. It was a way to stabilize currency value, but it also limited how much money the government could print. Too much gold? Great. Not enough? Big problem.
Fact number 5, the Federal Reserve and modern banking. In 1913, something huge happened: the creation of the Federal Reserve System, aka the Fed. This became the central bank of the US, and it controls the supply of money, interest rates, and helps regulate banks. The Fed can issue Federal Reserve notes, which is what we know today as the US dollar. During the Great Depression in the 1930s, the government made another dramatic move. They banned private ownership of gold. That meant people had to turn in their gold in exchange for paper money. Then, in 1971, President Richard Nixon made the bold decision to completely end the gold standard. From that point on, the dollar was no longer backed by gold. It became what's called fiat money, meaning its value is based on trust in the government, not a physical commodity. Fact number 6, the dollar goes global. After World War II, the US economy exploded, and the dollar began to dominate the global stage. In 1944, the Bretton Woods Agreement made the US dollar the world's reserve currency, meaning it was the main currency used for international trade. Countries began holding US dollars in their central banks, and even today, about 60% of global currency reserves are held in US dollars. Oil, gold, and many international goods are priced in dollars, which keeps the demand high. Simply put, the US dollar became king of the financial world. Fact number 7, today's dollar, digital, crypto, and inflation. Today, the dollar has changed a lot. Most of it exists not as paper, but as digital currency, numbers in a bank computer. We use credit cards, apps, and online transfers more than cash. But new challenges are rising. Inflation, economic uncertainty, and the rise of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin have sparked debates about the future of the dollar. Some experts are even discussing a potential digital US dollar, backed by the Federal Reserve. Still, despite everything, the US dollar remains one of the most trusted and stable currencies in the world. So now you know, the US dollar didn't just appear out of thin air. From Spanish silver, paper bills, gold backing to digital assets, it's been a wild ride. If you learned something new today, give this video a like, hit subscribe, and drop a comment. Dollar power. And don't forget to check out our other videos on amazing facts from history, science, and the world around you. See you next time.